Okay, I want to tell you a story. This is back when I was in school. I was in the Art Institute and I was taking a history of graphic design class. And the professor gave us an assignment. This was the end of the semester assignment where we had to take some aspect of graphic design and represent it through this project in some sort of physical way, uh, paying homage to a particular era of that design element. And so I picked typography. And I took it back to the days where typography, if I wanted to create a typeface, I had to actually carve the thing by hand, create it by hand, creating individual blocks for every single letter. And then when that was created, it had a font. And if I needed to create an entire typeface family, then I created multiple fonts. That means all of those individual blocks for every weight of the font, for every width of the font, a lot of work. But I wanted to experience what it would be like to actually hand carve a typeface of my own. So I started the process, and as part of the process, we had to kind of like show what the plan was. And so I started creating all sorts of schematics and graphics showing the measurements and the spacing in between certain aspects of the font build. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. But then began the real process, which was actually carving the thing. So I started off by identifying the wood that I was going to work with. I started working on balsa wood. Then I went ahead and started drawing my letters. And then I started carving my letters. And then I finished carving my letters. And it dawned on me that I made a massive mistake. When you're creating a block, a letter, and the purpose of it is to stamp basically onto a sheet of paper of some sort, you have to carve that letter mirrored. It has to be flipped so that when you stamp it, it looks in the right direction. Guess what I did? I ended up carving the entire alphabet mirrored backwards. It was a big mistake. I went over the next day to my professor with the biggest frustration on weighing down on my shoulders. And I explained to him my entire mistake. By that point, it was way too late. There was no way that I was going to hand carve the entire alphabet again, mirrored in the proper direction. My professor looked at it and he laughed. And he sat me down and he told me, Diego, listen, man, mistakes are the greatest teacher that a designer can have. This here, you need to let it live exactly as it is. And you have to own that mistake and incorporate it into it. Tell the story. When you create the booklet that explains the whole process, own your mistake and then let it become part of the identity of this typeface. And that's exactly what I did. At the moment, it looked like my entire grade was at risk. And instead, what I ended up receiving was the grace of somebody who understood the value of making mistakes and learning valuable lessons. I can assure you, if I ever have to carve a font, I will not be making that mistake again. And that's life, right? And that's something that I value a great deal in life. It is seeing lessons all around me, lessons that can make me live better, exist better, relate better to the people that I'm closest to, the people that I care most about. There's a kind of an inner compass that always points me towards growth and evolution that guides me in everything that I do. I look for inspiration and lessons everywhere. I've gotten ideas for projects, ideas for campaigns from the most random places just because I'm listening and watching and willing to receive inspiration and lessons from any direction, whether it's music that I listen to, or a show that I watch, or a documentary that I watched, or something that I saw out in nature when I was out for a hike, or something that I caught when I was out on a road trip. I love road trips. Or something that I saw once that somebody made out of Lego, or something that I made once out of clay, or an idea, an abstract concept that maybe shouldn't relate to design or marketing or branding or UX. And yet somehow it inspires some aspect of a project that adds a bit of uniqueness, that adds a stamp of identity to that project. That's the way I like to live. Creativity really is more than just a career for me. It's the way I live, and it's what inspires me.